Hello everyone, so welcome to another tutorial. We have seen how to install Ansible. Then we have seen how to run some ad-hoc commands, and ad-hoc by ad-hoc commands we mean that how we can run some temporary commands like copy and do some other stuff like setup, transferring files, and any kind of command we can run. We can run with this setup like ad-hoc commands, right? But there is more beautiful way to do this. For example, if you have to run multiple script, let's say like that, this is not a single shell command, but you need to first update sequentially. You need to run sudo apt update, and then you need to find a relevant version like hostname I with the IP address, and then uname A, and then you need to run Apache Tomcat or any other Apache Nginx, and then you need to do some other stuff, which certainly needs a lot of scripting, or you need to do multiple steps. This couldn't be, or this isn't possible with a single script, which means that you need to compile your script. So one way to do this is to just, for example, you can just run Ansible module shell, and in the shell you can run a script which where the script is saved somewhere abc script.sh. So this is the one way of doing that. But in Ansible there is another beautiful way of doing this, which is Playbook. And Playbook is nothing but a YAML writer where you can write multiple, you know, you can write multiple playbooks, multiple script in the YAML format. What is the YAML? Well, YAML is nothing but mostly a Docker, or this is Red Hat configuration default language, and that has been adopted by the community down the line, which means that Docker, Kubernetes, and many other people are using this. So what is the primary syntax of YAML? There's nothing fancy in it. It is just a key values pair. And sometimes the keys, the good thing is that there is key value pair, and second it is list or array, right? Now, what is the good thing about YAML? And the good thing about YAML is that you can, so you cannot use tab, number one. This is very important. Second thing is that you need to write spaces like that to nest your stuff. So you can nest dictionaries, which means that you can write key, and under that you can again write a key value pair. For example, you can write here car, which is key, and after the spaces you can write color red, two spaces, and then you can write, for example, engine 2 liter, right? So now the car is itself a key, and one key, and there is a list of two keys underneath it. So which means that this is again a key in a multiple key dictionary structure. But then the last item is the list. So for example, here I can say that you can also create a list, and list always start with, for example, cars, and then here I can say Ford, and underneath I can say that color of COLO, color of Ford is blue, blue, and engine is 3 liter or 2 liter or 3 liter, whatever. And then if I add to second car, which is BMW, and it should be on the same syntax level as Ford, and then similarly you can write the car list of cars like. So then in this second list you can say that and then here two spaces and then yellow color, yellow, and two spaces and engine specification XXX, and then you can also now run the second list, which is for example again a completely different category. It is not car, it is like trucks or bus. Now you can give the category of bus again in the same level, like Hino bus, and then specification of Hino bus, specs 1, specs 2. So that's how you write primarily YAML, which is very evident. So I will perform everything here on the playbooks. And how you run playbooks, for the running playbooks, it's very simple. You just as in the previous format, you would write Ansible, and then you write a module, for example, copy, and then you write argument, and you write argument here in the instances, for example, source and dest and blah blah blah. Or you can write a shell command, so forth. But here, what you do is that rather than this, you would write Ansible hyphen playbook, and then name of the book. So then down the line we'll see some variables and loops, how you can integrate variables in the playbooks. First we will run a simple playbook, and then we'll add some more variable into it and use variable. Then we'll do the tags in it. So which means that these are the three complexity steps we'll do in the playbooks. And then in the next tutorial we'll do the roles. And what is the role? In the role is predefined directory structure. So in the role you have multiple directories, and in multiple directories you have main.yaml. In the main.yaml you are calling multiple notebooks. What is the reason? The reason I will discuss in the respective tutorial as well, but the thing is that this is more organized, or this is more modular way to do this, more granular level and more control. For example, I have one book which is creating the user. So now pretty much for any task, for any server, mostly you need to create repetitively user 1, user 2 more often. If I have separate playbook for that, I can import that playbook in my directory of role, and I can easily call that role where I have multiple playbooks. So how the hierarchy goes? The hierarchy goes that you have simple ad hoc commands which can easily be run with the single script, but might be you need to write 20 to 30x commands to do a simple task. Then down the line, your second hierarchy, more beautiful ways to do with this playbooks, right? You can do this in a more organized way in the playbooks, where might be you need to run two playbooks, but you can achieve a lot of tasks by writing a lot of this syntax and code in it, right? And then there is more organized way down the line, which is by doing this role where you have multiple playbooks, and you can run like 10 playbooks. You don't have to run playbooks 3, 4, 5 times all the time, but you run these playbooks in one role only. For example, first you need to install engine, you deinstall some stuff, you patch some stuff, and you run some dependencies, and in some other playbook you run something else to configure some stuff, and you run like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playbooks. But essentially what they are doing, they are just install one Java, for example, or any Kubernetes, or any stuff, any software. in 5 different playbooks you have organized in that way. First, you create a user, you give some permission to user, and then you install some software and you install some dependencies, you do some configuration, and you copy some app into it, and then finally it's running for running your app, for example. But in the role, you have to organize the directory structures, and you have done everything, and you done run one role. One role, for example, role name is install app, and you just install app role, and you're there. So that's this is the actually hierarchy of doing the task. Now let's see how you can do. We'll not discuss role today. We'll discuss tags, action, variables, and playbook structure a bit. Yeah. So for example, now we have as usual here our master where the Ansible is installed. Here is always the okay. Here is the controller node 1 and node 2. For example, both of these computer belong to production environments. Let's LTR, which means that we have some folder here. Let's get host here. In the host, we have now deleted the categorization from the last tutorial. And now we organize everything as a one production environment. In the production environment, we have node 1 and node 2. Great, this is the IP address, this is the password. Now one thing more I have added here is that I have added the Ansible becomes password, which means that sudo password. The efficient way is to configure passwordless access, which we have done last time, but for sake of ease, I have just added here because every time I restart my virtual machines here, which is normally not in the case in normal setup, but since for the demonstration purpose I'm doing everything on the VM box, which is virtual, and I have to do it again and again because it's losing its state somehow, which I don't want to invest much time on that. This is just demonstration purpose, so that's why I just simply add the Ansible, which is also the practice in industry. There is nothing, because mostly in industries nobody would give you the authentication to do passwordless access due to security reasons, and that's why the practice is that you add this password to in your host file. There are many other ways to manage the inventory. There are some other security topic as well. You always create a vault, and in the vault, your host file normally goes to the vault, which is not directly accessible, and it is encrypted most of the time, and blah blah blah. But this is industry security practice. You should see for yourself how to do this vault thingy. But normally for demonstration purpose and for the ease of the understanding, we have done this. Great, as you can see that I have, for example, different. For example, I have with touch. I have created a file. Install, for example, install nginx, right? And now let me show you that install file, how it look like. So that's how the file look like, pretty much similar what I have told in the YAML. For dash means that a new list of the task, or one list number one, item number one, and item number one is the dictionary key value pair. You must enter space here, otherwise it doesn't work. This is the name, whatever you can choose. Then you need 2 spaces. The number of spaces you can always decide, but it should be consistent. What does it mean? That if you decide 2 spaces, you should always do the 2 spaces for every nested stuff. Yeah, one thing I want to show here is that the good thing here always is to use whatever ID you are using. For example, I'm using this. If you go to the extension here, and in the extension you try YAML, and YAML Red Hat support, as you can see, you can install this utility here in your integrated development environment, IDE, any editor, simply call editor. And when you do this, you can always get a lot of help here, and you can also verify this here. So you can always verify this YAML. So you can always verify this, right? YAML. That YAML is working or not, and if it is verified, it's gonna give you this hierarchy. And you can, if you can reach to all these tasks like state, whatever it is, which means that your YAML file is good, and it is a lot of help. You can always come here and select the language mode, and which verifies you. This is very easy. So don't always go and write raw text in the nano or vim in the Linux. It is good practice because most of the time, a lot of the time, you will be spending in the Ansible by just correcting some indentation. This is my personal experience. So this is always a good idea that save a lot of time by a lot of efficient tool by right now. There are multiple tools. You can also use any other tool actually for this, and this is the very famous tool, 17 million installs you can see already. So that's that. Great. Here actually our environment, as I have shown you, my host file is the prompt. Become yes means that I want to be a root user, because root user always needed for most of the installation tasks. Here task number one is that the task number one tasks, and task number one is the list of tasks, which is again the dictionary key value pair. Run apt update. You can give any name here, so there is not a specific name because it is just label. apt, again the module of Ansible, and in the apt you can do update cache yes, or update. I can refer you to this module here, so you can always read the synopsis. Right, you can do a lot of stuff here. These are all parameter you can give. You can port, state, update cache. We are using this one, so it's saying that update cache is equivalent to apt get update in the Linux, which in Debian machines. I can also say upgrade here. So well, here it's state present and update cache yes, to update the package. You can always refer to this built-in documentation, which is helping in the greater D. So great. Then I want to, in the second task, list number two, I want to, and list number one and list number two are in the same indentation level, and here I want to just install the Nginx. Again apt, and apt you need to give name of any software which could be available on the Linux. So it could be 100, it could be Python, it could be a whatever apt installation. Present mean try to install it. So I try to say no here, and then Ansible playbook, and then install Nginx. When I do that, it gather fetch and do its stuff and do whatever it needs to do, and it's installed. Great, which means that we have successfully installed with Playbook. Now this Playbook could be a very complex as well, and could do a lot of tasks as well, practically. Now let's see. Let's see that how we can add some variable, because when these playbooks are getting complex and complex and complex, sometimes you don't need to mess up the variable which you need to change a lot of time. What you do is that you just write here the variables in the shape of vars, and in the variable you go down the line, and you can var2 a value 2. So in this way you can always select some variable, and here if you want to, for example, do this or add this variable, for example, One variable it could be present. No, for example, state. Sorry. State is present, and if whatever any state I want to do, I can use this variable down the line. For example, I have 20 times I have used this state present in my software, and what I can do here is that I can use this state in this way in double brackets. And I guess I need to, okay, I can use this state as it is as a present here. So that's the way, and now I can call that variable actually from the extra variable. Like I can, well, I can just change the variable on top because I know that what are the most commonly used variable, and then I don't need to go like in the 38 or 100 line and always look for the state and change it. For example, I want to, there are different state install, uninstall. So this is the use case where you can do that, right? Okay, great. Let me then show you that how you can use the variables very simply. Let me go to var.yml, and in the var, for example, this is the variable facel number, and debug is the module which is to show some module. For example, this is the text message I want to print here. Task number one, task number two, I want to again do something and print variable name here, which is my name here. And then, for example, in the third variable name, I want to show that name of this number ABC or whatever it is this number 45. So now what it should do, it should run three tasks. In first task it should say hi there, in second task it should say my name, and then it should sleep for 10 seconds as a shell command. This is Linux shell command, and if any error it should ignore it, and then it should print the 45. So that's the order it should follow here. If I run this task, so that's how you add the variable, and I have shown you why you need the variable. Let us run Ansible. Ansible playbook, and then it was var.yml. Now it's waiting for 10 seconds. Found variable using reverse reserved name. Okay, you should use any other variable name because it is reserved, but it's okay. First, it's task run the task number one where it say hi there. In the second node, it's again say hi there. In both of the nodes, it say hi there. Then it's print my name on the both of the tasks. Then it's waiting for the 10 seconds, and then it's printing 45 here. All the tasks are good to go. That's how you can use variable to not mess up your long playbooks, and you just want to change some variable. Now, the real-time use case, you have to think about that. What could be? It could be anything, but normally you need to use a lot of variable. In the end, we'll use a very practical industry standard using example, which is meaningful. But this is just to demonstrate that how you can use variable. Okay. So the next item here is the tags. Now the tags are something very similar. But for example, let me just give you a case where you have 10 tasks in your playbooks. Sometimes you need all the tasks, and sometimes, for example, you want to install something, you want to create the user, and you want to do some stuff. But sometimes you don't need all the tasks, but you want to perform certain tasks. What you do is you can achieve this by using a tag mechanism. For example, you would say that I have 20 tasks, and all those tasks I want to run all those tasks where I use tag install. Let me show what I mean here. So if I go here and I use nano tag.yaml here, and here you would understand more better. For example, I want to first install HTTP Red Hat server, tag is installed here. Then now, for example, my task here is to identify the window operating system or operating system automatically. If the operating system is head, do something. If this is Debian, do something. It is CentOS, do something. Right? Great. Now we want to install task number one, and we use tag on here and that. Then for the Ubuntu server, we use the install tag again, install tag again. There are two tags. For example, might be on some cases I want to only install an Ubuntu server. Everywhere it is Ubuntu, and I can just say start, and it's gonna only start the task on the Ubuntu server and not anything else. Now I have left two tags, two other tasks where there is no tag available. For example, this debug message task and this yum task for the CentOS. So deliberately to show that how you can use tags. If now I use the tag in the command line, what it will do, it will just look for the option tag here, and the only task where it would find the tag install, it will try to perform those tasks and skip everything else. So that's the idea pretty much, which is very simple, right? And if I go here and if I run Ansible playbook tags.yaml and tags install. Great. Now you can see that first it gathered some stuff and then it skipped to Red Hat because it didn't found anything. No, it looked for the tag install, and tag install is only available here for the Ubuntu in Red Hat. But why it skipped the tag? It skipped the tag because we have another condition that if the operating system is of Red Hat, then please install the task. But it initiate the task. But as you can see that other two tasks, they even not just it didn't just even try to initiate them. Here we have extra condition because we say that if you find, let me show you. We say that if family is only the Red Hat, then you try to install whatever you want to install here, like HTTPD. It start the task because we had the tag install, but the condition when didn't fulfill, that's why it skipped it. But for the Debian, because Debian is the Ubuntu, right? It's fulfill the condition Debian, which is Ubuntu, because our system is Ubuntu, and it tried to install the Apache here, which is great. So that's how tag works. You can also mention multiple tags like install, installs, whatever, and that's how you run tags. What is left? Then the only thing left is the roles, and we'll cover this in the next tutorial. It is a little bit complex topic and more efficient and the maximum utility topic, which means that in industry you might be either using your playbooks or roles. There is nowhere at the enterprise level when you will be using any ad-hoc commands. Thank you very much for watching. Bye. Stay tuned. And if you really like this or this video is helping you in tutorials, please hit subscribe button as well. Thanks.